Welcome back everyone to another edition of the OP off-meta champs and builds, this time for 11.19. Showmaker has been playing the recently buffed Fleet Footwork on his Twisted Fate, while the Sona Seraphine bot lane combo is extremely deadly. This and so much more as we break down 10 unique setups and champions heavily underrated that you should be abusing. But before we get into it, be sure to check out SkillCapped if you want to truly get better at League of Legends. We're the only service that offers a money-back guarantee if you don't climb at least 5 divisions while actively using our service. We do this because our service really does work, and if it doesn't work for you, you shouldn't pay. Learn more at the end of this video or click the link in the description below. Alright, without any further ado, let's jump in. Starting it off up in the top lane, hands down the most undervalued pick for 11.19 is Poppy. We mentioned in our recent tier list that Poppy Top would be one to watch this patch, as she does exceptionally well into most meta picks. The passive buff allows Poppy to become even more oppressive early in lane, as she's able to punish melee champs more often when they walk up for CS. Stat-wise, Poppy's most common matchups are Camille, Irelia, Fiora, and Riven, which is absolutely perfect. If you can get a solid grasp of those matchups, then your ability to shut them down due to correct W usage and poking with Q and passive is huge. We also really like the fact that there are 2 unique setups going around, which allows Poppy to adapt extremely well. If you want a damage-oriented bruiser build, then rush a Divine Sunderer into Sterix 2nd and Thornmail 3rd. Divine is by far the most popular first purchase for Poppy jungle, but it's often overlooked for top lane Poppy. On the flip side, if you want to build full tank, that's completely viable too. Sunfire Rush into Thornmail 2nd and Randuin's Omen 3rd is a standard tank build. Whether you choose bruiser or tank comes down to preference and how well you're doing early in lane. If ahead and you want to press the advantage, then building bruiser helps accelerate your lead. When behind, opting for tank will allow you to be more effective with a lesser gold income. Rune Page is Grasp with Shield Bash, Bone Plating, and Revitalize. Poppy's passive procs Grasp, so shorter cooldown passive means more Grasp stacks in lane, which is huge value. Secondary runes are Biscuits and Time Warp Tonic. Akshan is extremely strong in general for 11.19, and as a result is seeing great success in the top lane. Definitely more niche and underrated than mid, but a great lane bully pickup into many meta tops. Akshan top is having a ton of success into champs like Fiora, Darius, and Garen. Bruiser or tank tops that lack a gap closer are super easy lanes, as you have the ability to kite around and poke them freely. Once you poke the enemy out, it's so much easier to chase them down and finish off kills, since top is a much longer lane than mid. You have way more real estate to work with, so the long range from E makes it nearly impossible for opponents to escape. Ignite as your secondary summoner is what most Akshan tops are rolling with, which gives you an even more potent early game. Shield Bow and Kraken are great rush options. It depends on whether you value extra damage or more durability. Second item, Collector slots in great, and then round it out with Infinity Edge 3rd. Runes are the standard press the attack with Presence of Mind, Bloodline, and Coup de Grace. Pick up Resolve for secondaries running Bone Plating and Shield Bash. A Bruiser Viego build that Team Liquid jungler Santorin has been playing in solo queue consists of a Shield Bow rush into Titanic Hydra 2nd. Divine is highly overrated on Viego now after the nerfs it received a few patches back. Many pros are swapping to Shield Bow, and the stats don't lie either, as Shield Bow users are winning around a whopping 5% more than Sunderer users. After the Viego changes, he scales very poorly with health and way better with offensive stats, which is why you're seeing Kraken and Shield Bow builds perform stronger. In regards to Titanic Hydra, its passive deals on-hit damage, and with how Viego's Q mark consumes on-hit effects at 100% effectiveness, you've got some great synergy. Since you're lacking health from Mythic purchase, the 500 from Titanic allows you to remain relatively tanky for mid-game fights. If you transition into a Wit's End or Sterix 3rd, then it provides you with amazing durability, while your damage potential remains powerful. Rune Page will be Conqueror with Triumph, Alacrity, and Coup de Grace. Grab Magical Footwear and Cosmic Insight for secondaries. A criminally underrated build throughout the majority of the player base that pros are taking full advantage of is a Rocket Belt rush on Nidalee. Blabber has been playing this one in solo queue, as a Rocket Belt ties into Nidalee's style so much better, as she's more single target focused and wants to play off spear hits to dive in and assassinate with Cougar form. Due to the magic penetration from Rocket Belt, your ability to one-shot targets is much greater than Night Harvester. Harvester Mythic passive grants you ability haste, which isn't as valuable as the magic pen from Rocket Belt. The mobility Rocket Belt provides improves your catch potential and allows you to capitalize on spear hits way better. The complete core build is Rocket Belt Rush into Zhonya's 2nd and Void Staff 3rd. Dark Harvest and Electrocute are viable rune choices. Electro gives you stronger single target one-shot, while Dark Harvest thrives in extended skirmishes. A unique setup that Korean pro Showmaker has been experimenting with on his Twisted Fate revolves around Fleet as the keystone. Fleet buffs a few patches back have made it a stronger pickup on ranged champions. The movement speed and heal helps to kite around and sustain in more difficult matchups. Showmaker ran the rune setup against LeBlanc, which makes a lot of sense as move speed will help in regards to dodging chains. Biscuits and Time Warp are the secondary runes, which ties into the maximum sustain theme. You'll also start the game off with a Corrupting Potion. The whole idea behind the rune page is to survive early lane against champions who are more snowball reliant. Although Everfrost is the most common mythic for TF, Showmaker is using a Rocket Belt into Fire Cannon build. This is all about maximum pick range on your 2-item spike. Against champions with a ton of mobility like LeBlanc, the setup allows you to catch them out. 3rd item to round out core build is Cosmic Drive, so you've got constant gold cards for teamfights. Moving on to our question of the day. Which item do you guys think is the weakest for 11.19? This is a pretty tough one, but if we had to narrow it down, Imperial Mandate would be top on our list. Moonstone and Shirelias offer way more value right now, while Mandate is a very niche pickup on a select few supports. So what are your thoughts? Be sure to let us know down in the comments below. Our second mid lane feature is another that the mastermind Showmaker has been abusing in solo queue, being Kog'Maw mid. It's for good reason though, as Kog saw an AP ratio buff on E, which has made him a viable option. The build is super interesting, as Showmaker's been running a Manamune rush into Luden's 2nd and Horizon Focus 3rd. Manamune over Archangels seems a little odd, but provides Kog with more damage potential from W, and the passive from Muramana amplifies ability damage. The ability Haste is another edge that Manamune has over Archangels, allowing you to spam ult out more often. Archangels will of course provide more ability damage, but Manamune will give you better extended fight potential as you'll get more value out of auto-attacking. Rune Page is focused around maximum kiting power as Kog'Maw lacks a gap closer, so being able to evade dive champions is extremely important. For this reason, you'll run Phase Rush with Mana Flow, Transcendence, and Gathering Storm. Secondary runes are magical footwear, so you've got even more move speed for mid-game, combined with Cosmic Insight to lower flash cooldown. The ultimate aggro Draven build being played by pros in 11.19 is a Gale Force rush into Ghostblade 2nd. We've already seen this setup lead to a lot of success for Graves, and it's a perfect combination for Draven as well. If you're snowballing early on, the build will provide you with the maximum ability to extend an advantage. Dash from Gale Force active and movement speed buff from Ghostblade gives you disgusting outplay potential. If playing against skill shot oriented champions, this build hard counters them. The fact Ghostblade is such a broken item after its buffs makes it even more insane. 3rd item will be the Collector. All the lethality and execute damage from Gale Force and Collector gives you immense single target burst. Let's not forget Draven ult buff from 11.18 provides you with even more one-shot pop. You can probably already guess what the keystone will be based on the upfront burst theme. Hail of Blades is the pickup with Taste of Blood, Eyeball Collector, and Ravenous Hunter. Roll with Presence of Mind and Bloodline for secondaries. This next feature isn't one specific champion or build, it's a duo that is complete free elo in 11.19. Sona paired up with Seraphine is what you'll want to be abusing for easy wins. Double Lift and Tactical have been playing the combo in solo queue as of recent. Key to having the most success with this duo is playing it when your team is locked in a bruiser or fighter. Yasuo, Yone, Kayn, Irelia, the list goes on, but making sure you've got a consistent damage fighter that you can buff up in teamfights is huge. The heals, mobility, and chain CC potential from the duo makes your team fight nearly unbeatable. Multi-man Seraphine ultimate followed up by Sona ult, and you have the potential to 2v5 fights all game long. It really doesn't matter what you do in the laning phase as long as you don't die multiple times. You can go even or slightly behind in lane, and once you reach 2 items, the game is practically over. Sona and Seraphine offer way too much utility later on, and especially with how Sona's new passive scales, the late game is laughably broken. Coming off his W buff, Galio's support is back in a great state as a solid counter pick. With Amumu being spammed more than ever, Galio is an amazing champion to play into him. You've got the magic shield from W to cut down on Amumu's damage, along with a point-and-click taunt to prevent him from reaching your carries. It's not just Amumu you can pick Galio into though, as he can shut down other engaged supports like Leona, Thresh, and Blitz. Galio build is a Locket or Shirelia's rush into Zhonya's second and Anathema's chains third. Shirelia's active is so great to initiate hard engages, or vice versa, peel off dive champions from your carries. Runes are Aftershock with Shield Bash, Bone Plating, and Unflinching. Pick up Nimbus Cloak and Transcendence for secondaries. And to round everything out for today, Anivia's support with the recently buffed Predator is popping off in 11.19. There are a few Anivia support one-tricks who use this heavy roaming playstyle to a ton of success. The movement speed from Predator combined with Wall from W makes roam plays so potent. You're guaranteed to burn the enemy's flash at the very least every time you gank, and once it's down, you rinse and repeat to punish their lack of mobility. Run right up to the opponent, use Wall to block them off, and then Q in the direction they try to walk around the wall to stun them up. With Vayne in meta as well right now, Anivia Wall has great synergy there too. Wall into Vayne Condemn is extremely broken, especially against ADCs and supports who lack a gap closer. If you hit the level 2 jump on the enemy and wall them off, you'll burn their flash without a doubt, if not pick up first blood. Complete rune page is Predator with Cheap Shot, Zombie Ward, and Relentless Hunter. Inspiration with Biscuits and Time Warp are for secondaries. For the build, start off with Leandries, go into Zhonya's second, and round it out with Archangel's third. Alright guys, before we wrap this up, let's tell you a little more about SkillCapped. So, we offer a 5-division rank up guarantee, and think that's a pretty crazy thing to offer. It's like a gym membership guaranteeing you'll get ripped. Your local gym would go bust if they offered that, right? Not us. We've offered this for years because our service really does work. It works so well, in fact, that we're able to produce by far the largest catalog of premium league guides on the internet. We add over 20 videos a week, with over 1,600 guides curated into over 100 courses no one can compare. We've also sent challenger players into ELO Hell 714 times and counting, where they commentate how to carry live. They also respond to all questions asked. Sign up today for as little as $4.99 a month if you are serious about improving. Alright guys, those are 10 new champs and builds that are being heavily slept on you can look to abuse for 11.19. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you back soon.